Good evening, and welcome to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair Dayhawk. Tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Geats, episode 29, A Cat's Sad Symphony. Boy, oh boy, there was DGPT that has been spilled in the expense of poor Neon. Yes. So the truth has come out in the worst possible way. Now everybody knows Neon's secret, and how will Papa Neon, Mama Neon would try to explain all this? I have no idea, but you can tell by the end of this episode she is heartbroken. And apparently next week she has the will to live. Doesn't have the will to live, doesn't want to be a Kamen Rider anymore. I mean, after that huge bombshell, and also with the fans, turning their backs on her birthday nonetheless. I mean, what the hell, right? But let's get on with the sad tale, shall we? So we have evil greenhouse man somewhere outside headquarters digging up something, and he pulled a decado. He pulled a damn you decade, but obviously instead of decade, he pulled damn you Geats. And you know why. He has been destroying his Jamotos left and right. And I don't know, man. I mean, also to blame is Michinaga after he left fake Toru on that top of that building. But it's either here or there, right? So he pulled a damn you decado. All the while he is unearthing a new plant monster. And we move on to Michinaga saying that he's going to host this new game. And then we go on to Neon, and she says while she was live streaming that today is her birthday. And she also mentions that today is also April the 1st, April Fool's Day, but she said it's my birthday as well. And after she cuts off her live stream, she also mentions that today is her miserable day. And not what it seems, because nowadays people who are up in age pretty much don't like their birthdays due to the fact they're getting older. In this case, however, it's for a different reason. It's due to a painful memory. And so we cut from Neon to KY and Ace. They're at a store, which looks like they're planning on buying Neon a gift. And of course, during searching for their gifts, Ace is surprised at KY for being all calm after revealing that Ace has the memories of his past lives. In typical KY fashion, he says, well, you're still you, right? And Ace gives like a nice smile, And then after that exchange, we get to see a squid waving a red flag. And without thinking, KY just went outside the store and chased after it. And Ace follows as well. So it leads KY and Ace into this tunnel, and then all of a sudden a barrier appears between Ace and KY. Mind you, KY does not pay attention. He still chases the squid while Ace is okay, I can't do anything because of this barrier, so I will turn back. And then we head to the scene where it looks like Keiwa is led into a trap. And he is greeted by none other than Azu 2.0, the mistress of games, and her anti-rider gang. And Michinaga announced that I'll be hosting this game. It's called bullfighting. And typically it's like a one-on-one match, and the losing team will be eliminated, obviously. And Keiwa, typical Keiwa, was confused by the name bullfighting, and he clapped back by saying, "You're the bull, aren't you?" And Michinaga's response was classic. It's like, "What did you just say to me?" That was pretty funny, if you ask me. I did chuckle. So it's gonna be in 3 matches. We're gonna have Kayla versus Rook, Neon versus Bishop, and Michinaga versus Ace. And so we move on to the waiting lounge. And this is where we get into detail of what the game really is. Like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be 3 rounds, and the losing team will be eliminated. Ace likes the idea because he thinks by eliminating all of the anti-rider gang will lead them to lead them close to getting back the Vision Driver and getting things back on track. And Shinrami agrees with him. All the while, we have Neon coming in saying that, okay, we need to rescue him. Ace says we cannot due to the barrier. And all the while, you see Sumuri and Chirami saying, happy birthday to Neon. And she was surprised because, like, how did you know my birthday? And obviously they didn't answer, but they responded with, your fans left you gifts, and we're also planning a birthday party for you after all of this chaos is over and done with. And that's nice of them, to be honest. Let's be honest. Because, I thought they just didn't care about their riders all that much, but in this case, they showed that when it comes to birthdays, they really care. Neon, of course, was shocked, but also saying thank you. And you could tell by the look of her face, she was getting all depressed again. And Ace notices this and picks up on it and says, "Why are you sad? This is supposed to be your birthday. What's going on here?" And Neon responds with, "Just don't pay attention to me. I'm okay." And obviously Ace is not going to let it go. So fast forward after, Keiwa's encounter with the anti-rider gang, he ends up losing the match due to cheating. Keiwa was doing so well up until this strange thing occurred in the match, and he was easily defeated, and he was sent to JGP jail. So he landed in jail. Michinaga was unaware of this occurrence and he was pissed off, but the mistress of games herself was like, "Why do you even care? We're winning anyway, so sit down and look pretty." And then Daichi is spilling the beans of what they're planning to do. Because now with Keiwa in jail, now it's up to Neon to come in and hopefully lose. Once she loses, both she and KWOW will be dead before Ace get a chance to even, win the fight and all that stuff. So that's their plan. However, before Neon gets into the ring and fights, the Mistress of Games has a scoop. She has some tea to spill, and we already know what the secret is. So we move on to the next scene where Neon is outside sitting, and we get to see Kiru with a birthday gift and trying to approach Neon, but Neon turns around and spots him instead. And this is where Neon pretty much connected the dots and tells him straight up, "You must be Kiru." And Kiru was trying to deny the assumptions, but Neon was like, "Nuh-uh, you're my sponsor." And then we go to his sponsor room, and this is where things get, not interesting, but Neon is asking all the right questions. She pretty much calls him out by saying, "Okay, in your letters, you're being so sweet to me, but here, face to face, you're being salty towards me. Like, what's going on here? Like, why are you giving me mixed signals here?" And Kiru doesn't know how to respond to that. He just tries to hide himself, and he doesn't really give her an answer. And Neon gets frustrated, and she's like, "Okay, you know what? Forget it. You're a douchebag. Goodbye." And poor Kiru, he goes to a local flower shop, talks to flowers, and he talks to them, and he says he doesn't know how to sort his feelings towards Neon. His heart is telling him to not sponsor her. He has a lot of mixed emotions about her. And then we get to see Papa Neon coming out from the flower shop with a bouquet of white flowers. And this is where we get into this cutscene of them drinking wine and just thanking Kiru for being Neon's sponsor and to continue on sponsoring her. And Kiru spots the bouquet of white flowers, and he was wondering if those flowers are for her. And the response Neon's father gave was, yeah, sure. Which leads to, well, before closing the scene, I forgot to mention that the reason why he placed Neon back to participate in the tournament is because to grow connections with people from the future. However, he does support Neon's wish of finding true love. So that's something I want to say before leading into the next scene, where Ace is not necessarily returning, but he is going to the scene of the crime. Because 11 years ago, on Neon's birthday, mind you, she was kidnapped. So that's one of the main reasons why Neon has a love and hate relationship when it comes towards her birthday. Because yes, it's her birthday, but at the same time, it just gives out a horrible memory of her getting kidnapped. So Ace research finds the site where Neon was kidnapped when she was a little girl. He goes inside, and guess who he sees? Papa Neon planting those white bouquet of flowers. And this is where Ace and Papa Neon meet for the first time. And this conversation was intense, in my opinion, because Ace was asking questions that Papa Neon did not like, to the point where he pulled out, well, I'm a sponsor. If you continue in prying in our family business, then I have no choice but to have your driver stripped, and you will no longer participating in this tournament. And Ace backed off, at least for a bit. But Ace knows that something is up. Something does not make any sense here. And then it leads to the scene where he meets Neon and tells her, okay, I know why you don't like your birthdays, because of that horrible event that happened to you. And Neon confirms it. And she says, my birthday for her is the best and the worst. And it makes sense, because now we understand why Neon's mom is so overly protective towards her. That's why she needs to have an entourage like the Men in Black, just to take care of her, because they don't want another incident to happen again. Makes sense. However, when the secret is spilled, yeah. So, as Ace and Neon were giving their, heart-to-heart conversation, they get greeted by a squid with the red flag. So it's Neon's turn to face the monster. So it's round 2. So Neon chases the squid with the red flag. Ace follows. This time, however, before she went in, Ace stops her and says, you know what, let me check something out. And goes instead of her. She couldn't go follow Ace because the barrier already activated. And so as Ace approaches the ring, the anti-rider gang was like, what the hell? Ace? Really? They were not expecting that to happen. You can tell, even Michinaga was like, of course, Geats is always the schemer. And Azu 2.0 was like disgusted because this was not part of the plan. However, regardless if Ace was in or not, she would have just executed the plan anyways. So Ace took Neon's place, and he ends up fighting the bishop. And we get to see him use the ninja buckle, and then he ends up using the Mark II form for a little bit. Now, this is where the match got interrupted. And this is where Azu 2.0 decided to spill the DGPT. And this is where pretty much this secret pretty much topples Ace's secret of having multiple lives, like still having the memories of his past lives. So right in the middle of the match, we get to see Azu 2.0's Chimpy cartoon, which by the way is pretty cute. And mind you, this was not shown in where they were at. It was broadcast pretty much all over the world at this point. And this is where Azu 2.0 spilled the secret. So it's revealed that Neon was a product of a wish from the goddess of creation. Neon's parents had a daughter named Akira. And 11 years ago, on her birthday, she was kidnapped and murdered. And this is where Papa Neon, I assumed back then, that he participated in the tournament, won the whole damn thing, and got the wish of bringing his daughter back. It wasn't the case. He skipped over that. Apparently, Niram, the producer, was interested in having the father, be a sponsor for the DGP. Maybe because, of money, and all that stuff, all the business stuff. At first, I believed that he said no. However, after what happened with his daughter, he went crawling back to Niram and said, you know what? I will be your sponsor until, of course, you grant me my wish. And the wish, as stated, is, I wish for a world where the symbol of my ideals, my daughter Neon, lives. And Niram obviously granted his request. And mind you, everybody heard the secret except for Neon herself. And this is where in the next scene, it gets really sad. But before that, Ace decided to, pull out the big guns. In this case, Gene's old gun. He had, used his booster laser form. And you can tell by the end of that scene, he is pissed off. He's creaming the two monsters left and right. Mind you, before Azu 2.0 spilled the tea, Ace discovers the second monster. So it got turned into a handicap match. And then we had the secret spilled. And then after the secret was spilled, this is where Ace transforms to his laser form. And we got this cool scene by the end of it that you can tell that Ace is angry. And you see him just beating the crap out of those two monsters. And leading towards the end of the episode. Mind you, again, Neon has not heard any of this just yet. So she got a message on her phone, and she was transferred to Kiru's sponsor room, where she is greeted by this banner saying "Happy Birthday, Neon," and she has like a mini tower of stuffed animals, and you can hear her fans who has supported her during her rider journey saying happy birthday. But then all of a sudden they start turning against her now that they know the truth about Neon's origin. They were like, I'm not gonna support you anymore. You're a product of the goddess of creation. You should relinquish your driver. You shouldn't even be here. And all the while, Neon was so confused of what's going on. And before anything else, Kiru jumps in, but it was already too late by the time he entered his room, because you can hear the fans just as you can tell, like, not cursing her out, but just saying all these horrible things to her. And I'm surprised that the actress didn't really shed a tear. I mean, she did a good job, but I'm surprised she didn't shed a couple of tears, because, man, that was a powerful scene. And obviously, she doesn't know the secret yet, but at the end of this episode, after being told that you need to be stripped of your driver, not be no longer be a Kamen Rider, that sort of thing. Then this is where we get the couple of scenes where she realizes the truth, that she was a product of a wish. Her the true daughter, Akari, was actually, the true daughter, and she passed away due to, what happened 11 years ago. And all those memories that she was remembering were all fake. They were all illusions. And yeah, she is broken by the end of this episode. And then we head into the final scene where Ace is still beating the hell out of those two monsters. And he turns around and stares at the anti-rider gang and tells them, but more directly at Azu 2.0 than anybody else, saying that you trampled on Neon's feelings, and I'm not gonna let you get away with this. And that's the end of the episode. Boy, oh boy, I mean, if you were Neon, I don't know. Her whole life has been a lie. And I wonder on next Sunday's episode, how would she confront her quote-unquote family now that she knows the truth? And how would she move on from this? Yeah, that's the question. Obviously, she will have a moment where she is gonna give up. What's the point of fighting, living, until like Ace and even Q will be like, at least you're alive. Just because you're a product of a wish doesn't mean that you don't exist. You do exist. Now is the time for you to really fight back and get some answers. You owe it to yourself to find answers. And will Papa Neon and Mama Neon, and hell, maybe the producer will give her the answers that she seeks? I don't know. They may give her a bogus answer, or maybe no answer at all. But eventually, if not next Sunday, maybe a couple episodes in the future where she needs to confront them and be like, what the hell? Is my whole entire life was a lie? What is this? Yeah, I mean, this is a better episode than the Gene and Ace episode, at least the first episode where he revealed that, oh, you have the memories of your past lives, and Ace was still half dead. This is better. But other than that, it's just a dark episode. Not totally dark. It got dark the moment that Azu 2.0 spilled the beans. But yeah, it's a dark episode, and I enjoyed it very much. It could have helped that Neon would have shed a couple of tears, but it's okay all around. And we get to see Ace being upset, for once. Because I always assume Ace was selfish and just in it for himself. But there are times where I think he does care about his friends that he made. Especially towards, people like Michinaga. Where Michinaga, he sees him not just as a rival, but as a dear friend. He's not going to say it, but I think he just also views him as a friend. And of course, towards Keiwa and Neon. Michinaga, on the other hand, doesn't see it that way. He just plain hates him. So it will take a lot of, punching to knock some sense onto Michinaga. But right now, Michinaga is in it for himself. He's not too far gone on the dark side, but yeah, I don't think Ace will allow Michinaga to really go full-blown dark side. At least not yet, because Michinaga has yet to murder somebody. So yeah. Other than that, I think that's it. I mean, the most important out of this episode is that Neon's secret has been revealed, and just I don't know, and also Kiryu's confirmation, and yeah, I think that's it. And yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? And of course, if you dislike it, what would you do to change it? If you had that ability. And also, the important question is, did I miss anything? Because even though I have my notes in front of me, I tend to miss a couple of important things. So please, write on the comments below, the good and the bad and the ugly. Also, please, if you like this video, give a like and subscribe. And if you didn't like it, that's okay too. Also give a like and subscribe. And thank you so much for listening regardless. And I feel like there's something to be said, but I'm not sure. Okay, just one thing. I assume that in my theory that Neon had a sister and Neon's parents pretty much covered it up. But I wasn't that far off, I guess. But then again, it wouldn't make any sense for the wish part. But, that was my theory at the time. But, and regardless, like I said, a great episode. And I'll see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Johnny!